This is things you might not have heard. I am Jacob and Payne, and this morning, 8 or 10 news stories for this morning because it's Monday. It is conversation stories that cover politics, current events, pop culture, and information news. And you let us know how the thing runs down. You literally give us half the work in for the rundown, and we'll explain how that works out going forward. These are stories that aren't just picked by me as what are interesting. They're literally picked by you as what we should talk about, and then I make them into the rundown for today. 10 stories going on today. We have updates on Luigi Mangione, but we're not using him in the teaser today because he was all last week, but we have big headlines from them. But we also add Crystal Mangum, Christie, Xmail, and of course, 6 other stories from the past weekend. We'll explain the full vetting process after they hit the headlines. But real quickly, our website, this is a conversationproject.com, our home for all things that we have, all things we do, so you can find out what we do and why we do it. Also, email us with your comments and concerns at conversationinbox@gmail.com. If I've not said it so far yet, I've said Monday, but it is the 16th of December, 2024. You are now, if my math is correct, um, you're now under 9 days till Christmas, something like that. Yes, so math works out. No, actually, that's, yeah, 9 days till Christmas. Math not good in head. We'll do less of it. 2 weeks, basically, you're down. So if you're not got your gifts yet, Amazon will help you, but won't help you that much if you get too far behind. Let's open up. This is where we need to open up with story number one. Headline number one deals with Luigi Mangione. Now, the suspect in this killing, what makes this more ironic that he killed the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, had no actual beef directly with UnitedHealthcare because that was not his insurer. Now, updated news from this real weekend included him hiring a high-powered lawyer who actually is married to one of Diddy's lawyers, and we'll get to Diddy really quick as well, and the fact that people are putting up a lot of money, a lot of donations, a lot of cash to help out for Mangione's legal funds. How that's actually being funded to him is, that's all how that works out. It needs to work out. But people are sending up money. The GoFundMe's are going great for Mangione. And in fact, many of the places who gather this money are cutting these off because of the high profile nature of the issue and the guy who we're dealing with. But here's where we go to the question marks and why motive. The 26-year-old murderer, charged with murder, I should say, of United Health CEO Brian Thompson was not insured by United Healthcare when the incident occurred. Basically, when he shot Brian Thompson, he was not under coverage of this company. So why he targeted him specifically is still up in the air. They're basically exploring whether his actions were motivated by the grievance of his back pain and the issues with that one. The biggest problem is United Healthcare can't seem to find his records as being someone they actually covered, someone they actually denied coverage. Company just can't find any record of him as a client, period. So his background, of course, fairly high level. He's a University of Penn graduate. He was a valedictorian back in high school. He worked in technology and robotics and apparently came from a fairly good, wealthy family. And now he's gone the route of Unabomber and manifestos and things like that. Because yes, we'd have discussion on healthcare system, but no, we shouldn't shoot people in the street to make sure those discussions happen. What is the question? Now, people are right now speculating because he had the manifesto and had these people should die or these people should be punished. He was just basically going down the line, and because Thompson had a public event that was easy to get to, it was his first shot at making it happen. He obviously did not make this thing work out very well as he got caught at McDonald's a week later. But that's just that. We're going to find out more about this because he's going to allow them to shout it and scream it unless this new attorney will keep him shut up, as he's going to probably not fight extradition, come to New York City and deal with all the trials and tribulations that will come with him very soon. I told you, get to Diddy, get to him fast. Sean Combs is abandoning his attempt to get released on bail. He's given up. He's been in custody since September on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, specific sex trafficking and racketeering. All the other ones are, single cases that are he ought to do it on his own. But he's in jail for this racketeering charge, essentially, because they think he's a flight risk. He's withdrawn his latest attempt for bail after many, many, many denials for this, including saying, well, if he gets house arrest, he's going to stay in his house, and it's almost as bad as, not worse. The judge is like, yeah, no. Prosecutors have opposed his release because they think he's a flight risk, and they also believe he's tampering with witnesses even behind bars. So not behind bars in his own house. He can do a whole lot of phone calls, chats, and sending folks to talk about things. The trial is already on the schedule for May of 2025, so we have a date booked to get this thing started. Can we wait for this big thing going forward? Let's go to revisit a story, a very, very old story from 2006, going back to the Duke lacrosse issue and Crystal Mangum, the woman who accused three members of the lacrosse team of raping her and, of course, ending the careers and doing a lot of damage to the lives of those members, and in the career of the coach who got fired, and, of course, wrapping up that season because it was basically canceled. What happened? The story fell apart, and years following, it was basically dismissed because the story fell apart. Christie Mangum, who's in jail right now, has now said, admitted, she made the whole thing up. In an interview she did with a podcast in the North Carolina Correctional Institution for Women, she's basically admitted to lying about the incident, stating she sought validation through false claims. She is serving a sentence on second-degree murder for a murder of a boyfriend. That's a whole other case that got her in there, so we're not discussing that one. The cases against David Evans, and Reed Sigman, national attention and igniting a debate on race and class. Despite lack of DNA evidence and the story just going crazy, they tried to prosecute it. The North Carolina Attorney General tried to prosecute it. And then the Attorney General, Roy Cooper, now the governor of North Carolina, exonerated the men in 2007 after there just was way too many crazy going back and forth in the story. Magnum's recent confession cannot lead to perjury charges due to the state limitations, so she can't charge this one. She expressed desire for forgiveness from the wrongful accusation of the players, acknowledged the profound impact on their false allegations in their lives. Basically, say, "I'm sorry. I wish I did better back then." Obviously, we can't go back and relitigate this one. This is a sad tale, and there's just really not much we can do with this one. But tell it as it is. Sometimes the true crime is not so true, and when the truth comes out, it actually hurts even worse. This one's going to hurt a lot because it's already hurting. And as much as I love Clarissa Ward, and of course I'm the CNN guy, the last guy watching apparently, she got some heat from this report she filed a few days ago. But as I watched it my first time, I was like, "This is a bit much. This is kind of a stretch. This is a whole lot." So a Syrian prisoner freed by CNN by Clarissa Ward while they were walking through looking for some other prisoners may have been an intelligence officer just hiding out. Um, CNN is actually investigating the identity of the Syrian prisoner that was recently freed during a report by journalist Clarissa Ward. They literally walked into a prison trying to see if they can find a certain prisoner. They just, hey, maybe he's just here, just kind of walking around. In one cell, locked away in the back, it's this guy under a blanket. He identified himself as Abdel Gahab from Homs. He said he was detained for 3 months in that secret cell. And afterwards, they walked him out. He saw the sunlight. Like, oh, the sun is great. He gave him some food and water. He was overcome with emotion, all the things that a prison would do. But it's just kind of weird that of all the cells and all the jail and everything had been abandoned, one guy locked in one cell with a blanket over his head was found. He was there for 3 days, just living there because they left him behind. But apparently, his identity is being questioned, and someone talking about the whole report. Should they have filed it? What's going on? He might be a lieutenant in the Syrian Air Force. He might be an intelligence officer. He might have just been back there, sort of gathering information and seeing what's left behind, and got caught up when they went to the prison, or actually staged this from the get go because he's an intelligence officer. No, but broadcast Ward and her team discovered a prisoner in a windowless cell, expressing disbelief upon learning that Bashir al-Assad was ousted and he wandered around. He was escorted out of bed. Um, the biggest thing is, on second look, he's got a pretty neatly trimmed beard, if you check that out. And he didn't seem like he was in much physical distress, but he did, play the role fairly quickly. Ward got a lot of flack from this on the front end from many folks, and many people who were very gracious to her came to her defense, which because she's such a storyteller, a story reporter, and does this thing for so much. She has a lot of respect for those guys out there. Right now, we all got duped. Apparently, we will see how this thing plays out. Transitioning to being duped by the drones, Christie is now speaking out. Now, drone activity continuing in New Jersey. It's crazy. In fact, drone activity is increasing around the nation in places. And some places have they shut down airports, including Wright Patterson Airfield for about a couple hours, and a big airport, regional airport in New York City or New York State that had to be dealt with because of airspace. We're gonna go with Chris Christie's story because he says he saw a drone above his house with all the strange lights reports in New Jersey. Of course, Chris Christie, the former governor of New Jersey, said he witnessed flying drones over his residence, expressing frustration with federal authorities handling the situation. The Congress is complaining about it. Governor Hochul of New Jersey is complaining about it. Chris Christie is now on this case. Everyone wants to know what's going on. Marjorie Taylor Greene believes it's the government spying on ourselves because the government is that person. But right now, Homeland Security is being criticized by many, many folks because they're downplaying it as, oh, it's just planes. Every time one of these things pop up, they say it's basically planes. It's planes that are flying low. They're planes that have the right security clearances, planes that actually have flight plans in there. They are not drones. They are planes. However, days ago, a drone like fell in somebody's yard, an actual drone. Which meant, well, maybe they are drones. There is something called Robin. It's a very advanced detection system used to check out things that are smaller than normal to keep an eye and identify and track drones. And New Jersey and the nation would like to see more of the Robin units out there going forward. Their radar, in a sense, not exactly radar because they're meant to find very, very small things and monitor them in sight. The origin is still unclear. The effort to figure out where they come from is still kind of going. FAA and Pete Buttigieg says planes. Do you believe them? Is there something out there? Are we spying ourselves? Quick break from the news. 5 stories down, 5 more to go for this broadcast here. But remind you that this conversation project needs your assistance in growing our project, growing our reach, getting bigger, bigger and better. We need you to like the videos we produce, share the videos we produce with people you think will like it, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. When you like the videos, it helps the algorithms tell us what to tell people what to watch and tell me what to work on further. I'm going to ask for subscribers, and yes, it's a bit there. That means something because it's a vanity metric. It seems like people like me, but it really is your engagement with current videos. So the more videos that you watch from here, and the more you like from here and there, the more I know I got the right stories for you, and the more the algorithm knows that these are something people might want to watch. If you share it with people directly, they would watch it, and they do. That's a direct hit right there. So that's where that comes from. And subscriptions is kind of a vanity metric, but when you go check your subscriptions, you'll see what we're producing. So even if you don't have notifications on, you can go see in what's in your feeds from us as you check them out. Whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or on the X here for this program here, we are there living in perpetuity forever. So like us, share us, and subscribe to us so you make sure you don't miss out on the great news. I'm just saying out there. I think it's good news coverage we're giving you. It's not exactly the beaten path stuff. It's not Anderson Cooper, as I tend to say. Give Cowboy Cotter its props. Beyoncé takes home her first award for country music in the country music category in the 2024 Billboard Music Awards. Now, you may say, a little shady. Billboard's kind of like, but she's finally got an award for Cowboy Carter. She's a top country female artist. She beat out Lainey Wilson and Megan Maroney, which may have some people miffed, but she's finally won something as a country artist, even though you may not like it where it came from Billboard Music Award. This is notable because it makes her the only woman to have won a Billboard Music Award in 5 different genres, underscoring her versatility and broad appeal in everything. Of course, Cowboy Carter was in 2024. It's Americana and pop influences. Many people say then country over a pop track doesn't make a country, but guess what? She made a country. It sold. It's hold song, and of course, a lot of collaborations with other artists in the country genre. Many of them black artists in country genre to bring a little extra Jose to those folks, because some people who don't listen to Vince don't realize that African Americans, black people are having a lot of impact in the country music genre, and it's not just cowboy hootie. It's all over the place. Let's go on to the next story at number 7. We talk about Xmail. 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 What is Xmail? We don't actually know, but hints of a Gmail rival is coming up there, and the memes, the memes come out with the potentially of an Xmail. Musk confirmed that X is developing an email service called Xmail to compete with Google and Gmail. The announcement came in response to a query about an X user on which Musk asked, "It's coming." So there's your confirmation. It says coming. We'll see if it actually comes. While specific details about Xmail's features, launch date, and pricing have not been disclosed, anticipated that the service will integrate the existing X platform, and this will align with Musk's vision to transform X into an app. And that would be apparently a good thing if it weren't for the fact that so many people have abandoned X, Twitter, as it was. A lot of interest, a lot of memes, a lot of pictures, a lot of thoughts on this thing. Do we need another email platform after 30 odd years of email platforms? Probably not. But if you want to bundle everything up and really rival with Google, how's going to do that without having the communication stuff? X needs to do that. X got to give it to you, and this is the case of X giving you email, another email to spam people from. That's just kind of what it is. One more email, and fake emails to get spam from. Number 8 story as you roll into the bowl season is going to be this interesting one as we have to deal with the aftermath of how college football works, how college sports work. The headline for this story reads: Marshall opting out of his bowl game after losing 25 players to the transfer portal. Marshall University is not going to the Independence Bowl. 25 players, more than 25 players, went into the transfer portal according to the coaching change, following coaching change. They already have a coaching change. These guys don't want to play for this guy, don't want to play for this team, and so they have said we're going someplace else. So there's 25 open roster spots that can't be filled for the actual game. The Thundering Herd was scheduled to play Army in Shreveport December 28th, and it's not going to happen. Does Army get a game regardless? They're going to figure it out and maybe put somebody else in there going forward, but it's going to be something else. In fact, I'm scrolling down. It will be, ironically, Louisiana Tech, who got bowl eligible and was kind of left out. Nobody will get a chance to place Army in Independence Bowl in Shreveport. I am a grad of Louisiana Tech. I've seen many Independence Bowls with Louisiana Tech in it because it's the only bowl they qualify for, and Shreveport is an hour away. So thank you. Yeah, thank you, Marshall. I guess, but a chance to play against Army, of course, this year a powerhouse, winning a conference championship, but not getting a chance to play in a major bowl because politics. Going forward, congratulations, Louisiana Tech, for being the consolation prize, being the runner-up, second runner-up, get a chance to slide in because the first runner-up decided that something else. Transfer portal, change of coaches, college football, the first year of the 12-year playoff. It's going to be a wild season, guys. Let's see what happens as the season wraps up and how it impacts. TikTok is going to be sold, or it needs to go away. And lawmakers are telling Apple and Google to be prepared for TikTok to be banned. Now, full disclosure, we use TikTok for the Content Project for news clips and other news stories out there to gather some intelligence, you guys, get some views, get some ideas, and going forward. Also, not a great large channel on TikTok, but we do what we can do. However, looks like TikTok is really going to go away because ByteDance isn't trying to sell TikTok. U.S. lawmakers have instructed Apple and Google to prepare to remove the app from their stores by January 19th, 2025, because ByteDance, the Chinese parent company, has to divest its ownership to an American company or a company that's friendly, most likely an American company, but it's not happening. The U.S. operations say that TikTok is fine. They do what they do. They don't spy on whatever. They don't share data from U.S. to China. But us, U.S., are a bit paranoid about that and wondering if they could someday. So this legislation, this whole deal to get rid of it, get it sold, has been on the books for a while, and they've been fighting it. They can't fight it. Can't fight this feeling. Can't fight this notion. Can't fight the fact that TikTok may go away because ByteDance is selling it. The Department of Justice has indicated that it should ban this app. It's going to ban it on the 19th of January. Supreme Court has uphold everything. So Google and Apple have to get ready to remove TikTok from your phones literally in about 35 days. Looks like it's happening. But what's not happening? Jimmy Carter is not attending the Trump inauguration, not because of any strife, it's because he's really old, he's kind of sick, doesn't really leave the house very much. Former President Jimmy Carter is 100 years old, and he won't attend the President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration in January due to declining health. Spokesperson for the Carter Center confirmed that Carter has been in hospice care since February of 2023, can't make public appearances. He can't leave the place. He can't go out there and do the, and this is the second inauguration he's missed since his own in 1977. But he also did not attend Joe Biden's inauguration in 2021. So there it happened. Despite his absence, the Carter Center emphasized his health is actually doing well for a guy who they put on hospice 2 years ago. And even though fragile, he's in good spirits. He's talking as much as he can. He's being a kind of a generational leader, if you will, for people who visit him. And his family are so glad to be in love with him this much longer, to have him so much longer, and have his insight and his wisdom. Once he is gone, of course, this institution that can't be replaced. His wife, of course, passed away in hospice in November 2023 at the age of 96. And Jimmy, President Carter, is still making it happen. Let's move on to our teaser story for the day. This is a headline that we are teasing that we could talk up if you want to. And the way that works is you have to help us out. Earlier in the show, beginning of the show, I told you that you help make these stories conversational. This is not just a pure monologue of stories I see on the wire as trending and pull them down. I see you telling me them trending, and we talk about them specifically. So you let us know by going to our feeds on Facebook, on X, and let us know how to deal with them. You engage in stories, and the higher the engagement story gets, the better chance to have them picking them out there because the number and time is limited. On Facebook, facebook.com/this is a conversation project. On the X, formerly known as Twitter, soon to be mailed to us, is x.com/th_conversation. If you follow us on our feeds, because you're still following what's going on those platforms, and you check us out every 50 minutes or so, we'll have new news headline and an article posted every single day, all the time. And so we get all those articles for you to engage in higher scores. Basically, the more you click on them out there in internet land, the better we have to talk about. We get over 90 stories over the weekend from Friday at midnight to about 3 a.m. Monday morning when we cut it off. And when we do that, we'll go through those stories. We'll look at shift them down so that about 30 or so at the top will be in plain sight. We'll pick 10 of them, and we did for today. The rest of the week, we get 30 stories in a day. We'll pick half of those and pick 8 for you to get from me here. And you can engage with me by emailing me, by telling me what stories are working and not working. Now, the headline we're putting in here, more bad news for Bud Light and Budweiser itself, as Michelob Ultra tops Bud Light as the number one draft beer in the U.S. this past year. Folks are still not really waking up to what Budgate we had. Budweiser actually endorsed or had an endorsement or had a collaboration, if you will, with a transgender YouTuber. And of course, people went over it. And because of that, Modelo became number one beer, and now beer in bottles. And now looks like Michelob Ultra, which may be an odd choice, is the biggest beer on draft. When we talk about this story coming tomorrow, you have to make it happen. We did not talk about Amazon donating $1 million to Trump's inauguration, matching the Meta donation. And I believe Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg put in $1 million of their own money in as well. So technically, it's $2 million per batch. This comes up with more discussions on who is in charge of what and how they're trying to cozy up with people going forward, people being Trump. But we didn't have that in the top 10 or in the top 30. So we talk about that in the top 10. It was not even in range with all the stories we had. That was one I teased that didn't work out. Teasing Bud Light, literally teasing Bud Light. Will this one work out? You tell me. I'll tell you tomorrow. Our sponsor today is Blinkist app. If you have trouble trying to find time to read, I have a fix for you. It is the Blinkist app. You can read over 6,500 best-selling non-selling books, most of them in less than 15 minutes. It condenses the books into bite-sized summaries that they call blinks, or for people on the go, mute, you're just taking a break, if you're going for a run, and again, something in the background, just get to chill out sometimes. Blinkist will help you learn and grow in the process. Science, business, history, personal development. Blinkist has them all covered in all sorts of book genres that are nonfiction. Also, some autobiographies as well. So you can get a 60% discount off premium prescriptions right now. And it's a great Christmas gift. If you have that reader in your life that can't get enough books in their life, they can get the Blinkist app, they can read the Blinks or they can listen to Blinks audiobooks. And if they love that book, which I have did myself personally, I listened to the Blink last week on it's basically called autobiography. It's a book about the lives of both Jefferson Davis and of Abraham Lincoln. Parallels as they're becoming president, going through the war, and wrapping up their tenures. Right now, I'm in the part where the war's about to start because it's a really big book. Big, but the Blink was played in probably about 25 minutes, and listening to it, it was so interesting. I'm a kind of a war buff, if you will. Like, I'm curious about the set. I'm actually really curious about how the South, how the secession, how the Confederates actually pulled it off to the point. And this is showing the parallel how Jefferson Davis did versus how um, Abraham Lincoln did. It's a great comparison. That's just me. I listened to a Blink. I bought a book. I'm listening to it on Audible. It's a very long book, so it's going to take a while to get through that. You may find the next big book you want to listen to is Blinkist because you'll find so many things that you won't really expect to be in your wheelhouse that might be something to check out. But we need help. We need to use our affiliate links to get a small commission, get the credit for you stopping by the store. It is at this. It's theconversationproject.com/Blinkist. This. It's theconversationproject.com/Blinkist. Blinkist. Blinkist is an app that will help you read more books. I read at least one book in the morning, one book in the evening, and whenever times are down, 2 or 3, especially over the weekend, because there's so many books to catch up on. Rereading books in some cases just because they're that good. And sooner or later, we'll do Blinkist book club again. We'll back up because cash flow. But what we need you to do right now is think about this as a Christmas gift to get someone a subscription to the Blinkist apps and get 60% off the premium subscription using our link today. Conversation Project is online at thisconversationproject.com. We want you to stop by our website and learn more about us. We have so many things that you really can't say in the time allotted because there's so many calls to action. Stop by the website. There is a page for sponsors. See more sponsors. Page for partnerships. We'll hype them up on Friday. You can be a direct partner going forward. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can click the link for joining the membership there and buy merch at YouTube. Those are things you do help us out as well. You can also see past episodes and find out another place that might be better for you. TikTok may be leaving in about 35, 40 days, but for right now, you can follow us on TikTok and get clips and stories as they pop into your TikTok as well. Also, YouTube Shorts, also on X, also on Threads. We throw it out there so often. Threads is kind of, we have a Blue Sky account. We can't figure out how to get the Blue Sky account to give us any stats. So once we get that down, we'll probably push that more often. But we're doing what we can to do what we can. We love you. We need you. And we a conversation. So go to theconversationproject.com and see how you can help us with that. If that's way too much, follow us on the feeds, email us. That way we can do what we need to do to make things work out. That is essentially what we need going forward. Just follow along the feed, email us, and we can do as much of the rest as possible. With that, there's not much rest to do as possible because we're done. This has been Conversation Project's Things You Might Have Heard for Monday, 16 December 2024. As I said earlier, we're now 9 days till Christmas. We are in the final stretches. If you don't have all the stuff for the kiddos, all the stuff for the adultos, now's the time to kind of figure it out. It's time to get a mistake. We love you guys. We mean it so much. We really, really want to have more engagements with you. So let us know what's happening. Yes, I'm looking at the feedback. I have a live feed over here, and I'm buffer me get stuck. We may have to lose the live stream in this one for this because technology and internet and things like that. If you're a partner, you're probably going to complain about this in the partnership wrap up. So there you go. Other than that, I love you so much. Consider being a partner. Follow us on the feeds. We'll have more of these things, more of this tomorrow.